Your little one has just turned 2. They're tearing through the house at full speed, melting down over the smallest things, and getting into absolutely everything they can reach. But underneath all that chaos and boundless energy, is their development actually where it needs to be? A lot of parents operate on the assumption that if their child looks healthy, seems cheerful, and is clearly full of life, then there's nothing to worry about. And while that instinct comes from a good place, it doesn't always tell the whole story. The truth is that some of the most important warning signs in toddler development at age 2 are surprisingly easy to overlook. Not because parents aren't paying close attention, but because most people were never taught what to look for in the first place. That's exactly what we're going to change today. I'm going to walk you through 5 key things your 2-year-old should be doing right now, and what it might mean for their development if those things aren't happening yet. This information has the potential to make a genuine, lasting difference in your child's life. So please stick with me through all 5 points, because every single one carries real weight. Before we dive in, I want to take a moment to say something that truly matters. If your child isn't yet doing one of the things we'll discuss today, that does not automatically mean something is wrong. Children are wonderfully individual, and development doesn't follow a single rigid timeline. Only a licensed pediatrician or a qualified developmental specialist can assess your child properly and give you real answers. What this content is meant to do is empower you with knowledge, so you walk into your next doctor's appointment with the right questions, and so you know what behaviors to observe and track at home. Catching developmental delays early makes an enormous difference. Study after study has confirmed that children who receive intervention during their earliest years tend to have significantly better outcomes than those who receive support later on. Paying close attention when your child is 2 isn't worrying unnecessarily. It's one of the most proactive and loving things you can do as a parent. Before we go further, I ask you just a little favor. Like the video and subscribe to the Parenting Blueprint. A little gentle touch from you, but a big help to my content creation workflow that helps you parent with intention, not just replication. Now, let's get into the 5 red flags. Red flag number 1, limited or no spoken words. By the time a child reaches their 2nd birthday, most will have built a vocabulary of at least 50 words and will have started combining 2 words together to form basic phrases. Simple things like more juice, daddy go, big truck, or no sleep. Those 2-word combinations are a genuinely significant milestone. They indicate that your child's brain is starting to grasp the structure of language and the mechanics of communication. If your 2-year-old is working with fewer than 50 words or hasn't yet started linking words together, that falls into the category of a speech and language delay that deserves professional attention. There's another important thing to watch for here: regression. If your child was saying words like mama, ball, or bye-bye and has since stopped using them entirely, that backward movement in language is a meaningful red flag that warrants prompt medical evaluation, not a wait-and-see approach. Language development is tightly woven together with cognitive growth, the ability to form social connections, and how well children perform academically further down the line. Early speech delays can sometimes point to underlying issues such as hearing loss, autism spectrum disorder, or other developmental differences. Getting an evaluation doesn't mean you're expecting bad news. It simply means your child will be assessed so that any support they might need can be put in place as early as possible. Bring up your concerns at your child's 2-year well visit and ask specifically for a referral to a speech-language pathologist. If you're in the United States, you can also reach out to your local early intervention program directly. Under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, all children under the age of 3 are entitled to free developmental evaluations. Red flag number 2, not making consistent eye contact or not responding to their name. By age 2, children should be making natural, relaxed eye contact with the people they know and trust. When you call their name, even from another part of the room, they should turn toward you reliably. They should also be pointing at interesting things in the environment to share that experience with you. A bird outside the window, a dog on the sidewalk, a brightly colored balloon. This behavior, sharing attention with another person about something in the outside world, is called joint attention, and it is one of the foundational pillars of social communication. When a child consistently avoids eye contact, doesn't turn toward their name being called, or rarely or never points to draw your attention to something, these are red flags for social communication challenges. Context is important to keep in mind here. It's perfectly normal for a toddler who is deeply absorbed in play to ignore their name the first time they hear it. That's not the concern. The concern is a consistent pattern across many different situations and settings. Poor eye contact and the absence of joint attention are among the earliest and most reliable signs associated with autism spectrum disorder. They can also be connected to hearing difficulties, anxiety, and other developmental conditions. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends autism screening for all children at 18 months and again at 24 months. If your 2-year-old hasn't had that screening yet, ask your pediatrician for it at the next visit. In the meantime, try recording short videos of your child at home, particularly moments when they don't respond to their name or seem to look away. That footage can provide pediatricians and developmental specialists with genuinely useful context during an evaluation. Red flag number 3. No pretend play. Somewhere around their 2nd birthday, children should be engaging in what's called pretend or symbolic play. This is when they pretend to feed a stuffed animal, use a banana as a pretend phone, push a block across the floor making engine noises, or stir an imaginary pot in a play kitchen. It might look like simple silliness, but what's happening beneath the surface is cognitively remarkable. Your child is learning to mentally represent one thing as another, and that's a crucial step in brain development. If your 2-year-old shows little interest in imaginative play, or consistently plays with objects in highly repetitive and rigid ways, such as obsessively lining things up in rows, fixating on spinning wheels, or becoming severely distressed when their routines are disrupted, even slightly, those behaviors are worth discussing with a professional. Pretend play is directly connected to language acquisition, the development of empathy, the capacity for creative thinking, and the ability to build social relationships. Its absence at age 2 is one of the specific behavioral markers that pediatric specialists look for when evaluating children for autism spectrum disorder and other developmental concerns. The way a toddler chooses to play and what that play looks like gives us a meaningful window into how their brain is growing and organizing itself. During unstructured free time, when your child is choosing their own activities without direction, take a moment to simply observe. Note what you see and share it with their doctor. Red flag number 4. Difficulty with social interaction and emotional connection. 2-year-olds, despite their reputation for independence and stubbornness, are deeply social and emotionally connected creatures. They should gravitate toward familiar caregivers when they're hurt, frightened, or overwhelmed. They should light up when you come home after being away. They should smile, giggle, and engage during back-and-forth interactions. They should also be starting to notice other children and show at least some interest in being near them, even if they're not yet playing together in a cooperative way. And they should be developing the earliest stirrings of empathy, pausing when another child cries, looking concerned when someone seems sad, or offering a toy to someone who is upset. If your child consistently shows little emotional reaction to caregivers arriving or leaving, doesn't look to you for comfort in distressing situations, seems genuinely indifferent to the feelings and emotions of people around them, or strongly prefers complete isolation over any form of interaction, these patterns are worth bringing to a professional's attention. It's worth noting that separation anxiety at this age is actually a healthy and expected sign of secure attachment. A complete absence of it, a child who seems entirely unbothered when a parent walks out the door, can sometimes be more telling than mild distress. Social and emotional development during the toddler years lays the foundation for healthy relationships, emotional regulation, and lifelong mental well-being. Early difficulties in this area can be associated with autism spectrum disorder, attachment difficulties, anxiety, and other conditions that respond very well to timely support. Consider your child's behavior across different environments: home, childcare, the park, family gatherings. If you notice consistent patterns, share those observations with your pediatrician and request a developmental screening. Red flag number 5, gross motor delays, not running, climbing, or kicking a ball. By age 2, children should be walking confidently and steadily without toppling over frequently. They should be running, even if it looks a bit wobbly or uncoordinated. They should be attempting to kick a large ball, climbing onto sofas or low furniture, and managing stairs when holding onto a railing or a hand. Their physical movements should be growing more controlled, coordinated, and deliberate as they develop core strength, balance, and spatial awareness. If your 2-year-old falls down constantly, walks exclusively on their tiptoes as a primary movement pattern rather than occasionally, is not yet running at all, or appears to have noticeably low muscle tone, such as seeming unusually floppy, tiring easily, or struggling to hold their body upright, those are physical developmental red flags. Persistent toe walking in particular is something to raise with your doctor, as it can be associated with autism spectrum disorder, cerebral palsy, and certain muscular or neurological conditions. Recording a short video of your child walking, running, and climbing at home can be very helpful to bring to a pediatric appointment. If your doctor shares your concerns, ask about a referral to a pediatric physical therapist or a developmental pediatrician for a closer look. An important reminder before we close: if your child is showing one or more of these red flags, please take a breath and try not to spiral into panic. Noticing a potential concern is not the same as receiving a diagnosis. It is simply the beginning of the process of finding out whether your child needs additional support, and if they do, getting it to them as early as possible. Many children who display early warning signs go on to thrive when they receive the right help at the right time. The fact that you're here, watching, learning, and paying attention means you are already doing the most essential thing a parent can do. You are advocating for your child before anyone else even thinks to ask. That matters more than you may realize. Here's a quick summary of the 5 red flags to keep on your radar for your 2-year-old. First, fewer than 50 words or not yet combining 2 words into phrases. Second, not making consistent eye contact or not reliably responding when their name is called. Third, little to no pretend or imaginative play. Fourth, limited emotional connection or minimal interest in social interaction. And fifth, gross motor delays such as not running, climbing, or kicking a ball.